Yeah.
Doing that. Okay, so
Makes sense.
we're now recording. Everything's good. Here we go. Ladies
You
and
guys
gentlemen.
can hear me?
Here,
You guys
yes.
can hear me,
You guys
everything?
all sound great. You guys
Yep.
are fine.
Okay, cool.
Begins in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is Russell Brower from Blizzard Entertainment, and you're listening to The Instance.
You're listening to The Instance.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Instance. This is The Instance, the World of Warcraft podcast, so you don't have to, episode 367. My name is Scott Johnson. Jeez, 367. And with me, as always, Terpster. Hi, Terpster.
Well, not as always.
Well, yeah, you weren't here last week, but
occasionally, if we can, we
Here
try
and
to
there.
make it happen.
if we can work it out, he's physically here. It's good to have you back. Also,
I'd
Dills.
love to physically be there.
Hello, Dills.
Hello, Scott.
How's it going,
I
man?
feel like I am, as always.
Yeah, you're here every week.
It's good. It's
Yeah,
good.
you're Johnny on the spot this week with stuff. We had a great little pre-show discussion about Hearthstone, but I would recommend people check out the TAC because I'm guessing you guys are going in deep on these changes and all this
There's
stuff.
a lot of stuff coming up, yeah, and that's where we will discuss it all. Unfortunately, Garrett was I guess fortunately for Garrett, unfortunately for the fans of
holiday,
the show,
yeah.
he was on a cruise. Yeah.
Oh.
So he may or may not have violent diarrhea at this point. We don't know.
I think the chances are high.
Safe to assume. isn't
Yeah,
it?
safe to assume. I assume
Yeah.
that him and about 250 other people are horribly ill right now.
Yeah, if they don't talk about lost Malaysian flights, it's about some outbreak on a ship. That's what the news is these days.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah,
talks
I
about
feel
anything
like-
important.
I feel
It's
like,
like,
a
what
cruise
should
would be
I
fun.
be scared of today? Let me turn on the news.
It's
I
Oh,
feel
I
like
wasn't
a
that
cruise
scared
would be
about
fun. I
planes
just-
anymore, but yeah, I guess I am again.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
can't take the chance. I just can't take the chance.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I like shuffleboard as much as the next guy.
Me
but-
too. I like
Yeah.
pools on top of a ship on top of water bodies. I
Sure.
think that's
Yeah,
great.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
love that. It's so meta, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's like,
It really
you know,
is.
It's a
It's
weird
like
thing.
surfing the internet while surfing on a game where you're surfing on the internet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've got no idea what any of that means, but it's like there's several levels of Inception.
Yeah.
Bomb.
Way down low. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't like cruise ships because I am one of those people that tends to get a little seasick after a while. I don't get car sick, but I get seasick. That kind of slow rocking thing just gets me after a while. And the idea of, spending a chunk of money and spending time on a ship where now you're not hungry because you feel like garbage because you got seasickness. You don't want to go near that all-you-can-eat buffet. That doesn't sound like a good 7 days to me.
Yeah, yeah. And
That
you
sounds
spent
rough.
money on that.
Yeah. That's the other thing. It ain't free, man.
Sure.
Nobody ain't giving
But
no
it
free.
seems like I remember one time I was staying in Cozumel, and it's a popular port to drop people off who are on a cruise.
Yeah.
And everyone seemed like they're having a fantastic time.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Maybe not every ship, as we've been led to believe, has an outbreak of bummed disease or whatever they call it.
Everyone I
whatever's going
hear
on.
of. That's why. It's everyone that I hear about.
Well, good. It's good to be back and to talk about WoW, really, among other things. But it's been an interesting week for me. Just real quick, get it out of the way. The town crier, my son Nicholas, was struck low by a appendicitis.
Ooh.
Happened a few days ago, and he woke up in the morning with just horrible searing gut pain, and we kind of had an idea what that might be. Both my wife and I had appendicitis when we were his age, around 15, 14. So
it's your fault.
yeah, it's
hope
all
it's like that.
genetic. 15%, by the way, 7 to 15% on average in the world will ever have their appendix explode on them. So there's your percentage. So it's lower than I thought, but it's a super routine thing. Turns out he's in excellent health in every other way, and it was easy and quick, and it hadn't perforated or exploded, which means way quicker recovery, and he is now upstairs watching movies, eating crap, and chilling out. So thanks to everybody who asked about the town crier during the week. He is fine, and we roll
Good
on.
to hear.
The problem is it just kind of screwed up. Well, this isn't the problem. I mean, whatever, that was the priority, but I didn't get to play a lot of video games during the week, including WoW.
You did tell him that was his fault.
Oh, yeah,
did,
exactly. You should say to him, "Look, Nick, come on. I appreciate that you're ill, but I've had a hard week as well.
Yeah.
I was gonna try and see if I could hit Paragon 150. I want to get a new portrait, and you're let's call it out now. Selfish getting ill.
Yeah.
Has stopped that from happening.
Yeah, nice timing, buddy. Nice timing.
If he's going to be on his back for a little while, recovering from it, the least he can do is get on the barbarian and start leveling him up.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
Farm
and equally,
some stuff, sure.
Yeah, exactly. None of this, adventure mode stuff. I want you Torment 6.
Yeah.
I want you as tanky as you can. You go and barrel legendary farming.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You're going to keep trying to survive until you hit a barrel that drops a legendary that's Torment 6 level. And then you can stop playing.
Yeah.
Up until that point.
Yeah, then you can have your pudding.
Yeah, exactly.
We've really laid it out for the poor
By
kid.
the way, I actually did have a friend when I was in college who told me her parents played WoW.
Yeah.
And rather than regular chores, she had to level up their professions to get her allowance for the week.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That seems bad.
The terms of service state that's not allowed.
No, I know. I wouldn't
salute
say
it.
who that is.
I salute it.
She didn't have to clean her room or do the dishes or whatever. It was just I need to get to 600 in tailoring. So if you want to get your allowance this week.
That's really funny to me. I can't believe somebody. I mean, it's a big joke to do it, but that someone actually did that seems crazy.
She said that she was cool with it though. She was like, yeah, I got to play WoW for my chore.
Well, and honestly, what's the difference between, hey, if you get good grades, I'll give you $10 a week or whatever? What's the difference? It's not really that different.
The difference is when you get good grades, it benefits you. When you level up your mom's tailoring, it benefits your mom.
Oh, good point. That's a really good point.
No, but I mean, I don't know. I would have no problem with that if I was a kid. I don't care what the chore is. I got chores I got to do. Tell me what they are.
Yeah,
I'm a kid.
What do you need? I'm here for you.
Yeah,
totally understand.
Job's done.
Well, as as Terpster says,
can weapons die?
we're gonna move on with the show here.
That's quite that's quite deep as well. I'm like philosophical.
Wow.
Well, you just said it too, like 15 minutes ago. And
I know exactly. Your soundboard skills are just extraordinary.
It's crazy. Yeah, we just had this conversation, and now it's a sound drop.
Yeah, Paragon 200. That's the unlock there as you get better at the soundboarding. So I played. Wow. I really do have a serious Diablo problem, and I can't tell you how many times I've this week. So when I did have game time this week, it was all spent farming mouth ale to get that stupid fears
souls,
whatever it is,
jar of souls.
Yeah, the fear jar. There's like a face.
Jar of souls, huh?
Because I needed that to do an epic
wraps.
Yeah, the wraps. I needed to do this legendary craft.
I've got those 3 times, and every single time the wraps have been terrible. And the thing is, I think mainly because I'm playing on my barbarian and it gives me 30% extra, fury.
Yeah.
It gives me basically 30 fury or 33 fury when I get a health globe.
Yeah.
I never really feel like it's a massive cool thing.
It's not a big
for often the DPS drop I get from them being terrible bracers.
Right.
But I don't know. I tried it on my wizard and it was a little bit better. But I'm not a convert of the wizard's wraps.
Yeah, for me it was more like I actually got a pretty good roll the first time, so I'm happy with that. And it's for the wizard, and he needed them, and so that's all good. But I just
have you got any set pieces yet?
No, that's my my ultimate goal is I'm heading towards set pieces next. That's what I want next.
So I've got a couple of set pieces now on my barbarian.
Yeah,
and the best thing to do is to jump on. You can do it in normal adventure. You don't have to do torment level, but do bounties in Act 1, and there's a chance that the cache will drop a royal ring of whatever, like grandeur or something like that. I forget what it's called, and it gives you the set ability. The ability on the legendary ring is that you require 1 less item to complete a set,
right,
and to get the bonus. And it's just that's
pretty awesome,
amazing.
Yeah,
that I've got, I think I've got like 3 pieces of blackthorn. And so it gives me like 2 of the blackthorn bonus.
Oh, those are hot too. Those are good looking.
I've got the I forget what the sword is. I've got the sword and shoulders of another set piece that normally requires 3 pieces, but because of that ring, so I've got kind of 2 set bonuses thanks to that ring. That ring is the best thing you can ever find.
That particular, so that drop rate, not to get all Diablo on everybody, but that drop rate's not improved by higher difficulty in that zone, I don't think. I think that's just
cache legendaries and stuff like that don't change based on torment. It's a little bit like Kadala, whatever her name is. Whatever level you're on, you get the same stuff regardless. But that's why a lot of people, when they're farming those bounties, will just do them on normal just so they can blitz through them really quickly. Other people think, well, I'll play it on Torment 1 or 2 because I might equally get some nice legendaries along the way. Yes, honestly, like Diablo's just so good.
It's so damn good. Gosh dang it.
My barbarian's DPS is nearing 1 million on the character sheet.
Good lord.
It is honestly it's such a satisfying experience. Kind of playing and just
I just find myself craving it, even after I've had a long slog through it, where I'm just like, oh, I need a break, and then I kind of start thinking about it. And I want to go back and play more.
It's a super rewarding experience. That's the best thing about what they've done with Reaper of Souls, is they made Diablo, because they didn't have to cater for the auction house. They could flick all of the endorphin switches to maximum, and just make it that no matter how long you're playing it for. Well, ideally, the longer you play it for, the better as well, with its kind of built-in legendary timers. It's just such a rewarding experience that actually Warcraft struggles to compete with. In WoW, often the investment of time is so much more to get a similar reward back. Diablo is like I don't know, I'd say it's like Five Guys or In-N-Out Burger, in that it's fast food, but it's good.
Right.
Whereas WoW's a little bit more like, going out to a nice, I don't know any American ones like Olive Garden, which I know isn't that nice. It's like going out to a nicer restaurant where, you've got a little
like
bit
a TGI
choice.
Friday.
Yeah, like
TGI Friday. So you've got a bit more choice on the menu. Okay.
Sure.
And order it. It's going to take a bit longer.
Yeah.
It's actually going to be a little bit more expensive as well. Yeah. But arguably, you could say is really good.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, you are just as happy with your Five Guys burger and fries, or your In-N-Out burger every day. It's probably not good health,
as long as I get the orange sauce.
Exactly, it's one of those things where it really is fantastic.
It's so the rewarding bit is definitely true. But what are you doing playing Skyrim? It's 20 freaking 14, and here you are living in the 2011 age. What's going on?
So I've been looking for just like something I can record and put on YouTube that is fun. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I'm just getting really kind of old and grumpy. But I was like, you know what? I just want to play Skyrim because it's such a fantastic experience. It's so vast that even a game that I've played for as much as I have, there's still so much of it I've never seen. Yeah. And then I got in the deep, dark corners of the modding world and found out that there's even more game that other people have made and put in there. Yeah. There's whole expansions, whole extra companion characters, all with unique dialogue and quests and all of these additional things that happen. That Skyrim, albeit so old really now, is just still such a fantastic game experience. That it blew me away actually going back into it and modding it up and making it all beautiful. And I think once I'm done with it, which will probably be a couple of months because of how big it is, I want to go and play like Fallout New Vegas and stuff like that, because there's as many mods again for that. And that's even older.
Yeah, but New Vegas is really good, by the way. I love that game.
It's one of these things that more and more I'm just coming around to this idea that modding is the fuel of PC gaming, and it keeps the engine running.
You're probably excited about that Unreal Tournament news then.
Well, no.
Unless you're not a fan of Unreal Tournament. I don't like I'm a huge fan.
No.
Oh, well, you're crazy then. You're European. Well, that's the problem.
I'm European, exactly. I never liked the proportions of the characters, and I never liked this. It's too twitchy for an FPS for me, Unreal. I prefer a little bit more of a slower pace. Yeah. But anyway,
very slow.
Yeah, very slow Skyrim pace to your FPS.
So I just think that it's great, and it kind of made me think a little bit about what Blizzard's done with modding in terms of World of Warcraft has always been fantastic because of its modding support.
Sure.
And using Lua and using these open languages and being quite putting the right sort of APIs and hooks in there to allow people to make strong tools for the game and keep it relevant.
Don't you wish Blizzard was doing that with Diablo? I do.
Exactly. It's that sort of thing that I would have loved to have seen rolled out across their whole portfolio, and equally seeing it, with Steam Workshop and Nexus and these other platforms out there. I mean, Curse, they've just signed Kerbal Space Program.
Yeah. So
Curse is doing like a crazy thing with Minecraft modders, I think, where they're going to make it so that you can earn money. I think they do it with WoW modders now.
They do.
I think like they earn money through the premium client. Mm-hmm. So you can actually kind of your job in theory could be that you make a really good World of Warcraft mod. And I love that. And I kind of feel like, Pardo did all this talk around the StarCraft store and the universe creator that they shipped with the game, and how they were going to really kind of reward and encourage and grow modding communities that brought us League of Legends,
Sure.
Dota brought us these massive franchises. But I haven't seen it yet.
I predict it swings back. I think that the writing's kind of on the wall everywhere, and I don't, games like even Heroes, and even to some degree, you could even argue Hearthstone would be interesting if you could do some art on the back of cards, or I don't know what the work is there, but in these games where you've got bigger worlds.
Exactly, but mods that affect only client side but don't change the gameplay experience, I think are fantastic.
Yeah.
If, for example, if I want a mod installed that means that Tyrael doesn't bitch about having eaten too much ever again, or ask why a dude's looking at a woman.
Yeah.
I'd love to have that mod, because those are things that really irk me.
Yeah.
And I don't want Blizzard to waste developer time, putting a button in for me to switch.
Yeah.
But
let me put in my own voice packs. Let me walk in there and have him go, "My testicles itch," or something else.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I've never had a scrotum before. These are quite convenient. And that, again, I think that modding, like I said, just allows game developers to see. They don't have to take the risk of dev time. They don't have to do anything. And I mean, WoW's benefited so much from it, where the dev team saw like everyone's got deadly boss mods. So then like, okay, well, let's put that in the game.
Sure.
Everyone's got a quest tracker and a quest guide. Okay, well, let's put that in the game. And I love that. And I think it allows them to target their resources, and it shows the community and the player base, what they want.
They still have their crafted experience. It's still relatively linear in terms of, not linear in the traditional sense, but it's what Blizzard has made. But they have said to you, look, we also know you like to put things on top of this. You don't like our UI, so you like this other one, or whatever. They're letting you customize the part of the experience that doesn't disrupt the game itself. Why that isn't the prevailing, philosophy across all their titles, I don't know. I don't know why that isn't.
I've actually gone the other direction though with WoW. I've started to use less and less mods over time. But I do think that some of it has to do with the fact they've added some of the stuff to the game.
Exactly, that's because those mods are so useful that Blitz has made them.
But I also think there's an argument that when you're a developer, like, you want people to have this pure experience that you've spent so much time crafting. So sometimes they decide they don't want people to get in there and muck that up, or do a bunch of things to it to make it look different and weird and silly. And I think that it works for some games, but I think that more games could benefit from it than not.
Max Schaefer for Torchlight 2, specifically, he said, I chatted to him about it, and he said, like, we're not really fussed about, a lot of things that Diablo was doing at the time, because if people want them, they'll mod them into the game, because they put that modding support in there. And I kind of feel like I don't want Blizzard to lose sight of the fact that it has an amazingly creative, talented, and engaged audience and, fan base. If you look at all the ways that we interact and we create stuff around the game, all these fantastic websites out there that allow you to build your character spec up and to track your achievements and all these other things, that I just think like I said, it's something that's brilliant. And I think, like I said, playing Skyrim from all those years ago, it's kind of 3 years old now, and yet looks better. Than
still holds up due to mods.
Because I've got you've got mods you can have up to like 4K resolutions in terms of textures for that. And it's just like,
Dills is probably like me, Dills, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like WoW mods, I use what I use, and it's maybe I've also reduced how many I use. I've probably maybe 3, maybe 4 total mods, and I generally just don't like to fiddle with things too much, because then when a patch comes, things get jacked, and I hate that experience and all of that. But I do exist in a place philosophically where I would prefer that I can use any mods I want, rather than be limited as to not being able to use them at all.
No, I totally am. That's exactly how I am. It's just I want to be able to add the things that I feel like I'm missing. But over time, I realized that I'm not missing as much as I thought I was, I guess. It's like I realized that if I actually strip the experience down of WoW even more, that I'm enjoying it even more. I don't know. I've actually seen a lot of the like big PvPers in WoW use almost zero mods. They use just like a couple just to keep track of trinkets going off and buffs and debuffs and stuff. And then that's pretty much it. Everything else is like stock UI and all that. So
when they go into an arena, though, I don't know. Are they allowed to have mods and stuff like that? So when they go into like a tournament sort of thing,
professional stuff, I think there might be like a certain amount of approved ones, but when you just watch them like playing, like streaming, they use very few. And it's basically there's like a couple that they really need, but Blizzard has really put all the things that you need into the game at this point.
Is it mostly, when those guys are competing, is it mostly like action bar kind of mods or what?
No, not even. It's like, I think one of the big ones is called plate buffs. It's a mod. I can't remember if that's exactly the one they're using, but basically it just shows you like the debuffs and buffs that are on people.
Oh,
because it's important to know, like, if this guy has a dot on him, I can't CC him right now, stuff like that.
Right.
But the UI and everything has actually, like, Blizzard maybe wouldn't have known that we needed all this stuff though without the modding community. So Terpster makes a really good point.
Oh, right.
That like, this is how you find out what is wanted in your game, by the fact that, oh my god, 200,000 people downloaded this mod. It's probably pretty good.
Right. It's also crucial to the gaming industry in general. People don't even realize this. When you go and you buy like Call of Duty Ghost voice packs with Snoop Dogg in them, right? You don't realize what came before that.
Shizzle, dizzle, dizzle.
Back in the day, speaking of Unreal and Quake and all that, I mean, that's what these games did. They gave people tools to be able to add in voice packs, skin packs, levels, game types. There is no Team Fortress without modding to the Quake community. There is no Capture the Flag without mods to Quake 2, I believe was where that thing first spawned. There are none of these kind of squad-based ideas, class-based shooters.
There's no friggin' League of Legends.
There's there's no Dota. There's no Heroes of the Storm.
Exactly. So it's a real segue, and we should get on with the show. But I just think that it would be fantastic to see Blizzard deliver on that marketplace that they were saying with StarCraft 2, and expand that and make it not a StarCraft thing, but a Battle.net thing.
A Blizzard thing, sure.
And to be like, okay, we're Blizzard, we've got this fantastic connected platform where all of our IPs interact. Let's also make it a place where all of our modders can interact and put their stuff up. People can sync. I don't need to pay money to use the Curse client. I get extra value from being a Blizzard customer in that they also provide that service through their launcher and client. And I can use that same thing to manage all of my Diablo mods because they've enabled that, and all of my StarCraft mods. And equally, they can feature really good mods on there. And there's certain ones that I buy, different game modes, that then go and help fund those creators to make more great stuff.
Right. Plus, it's all still server controlled, so they still have control over making sure that black market crap isn't happening and people aren't hacking stuff.
If they allow this in all their games, like, Hearthstone could be fantastic if someone could make a mod that was a stat tracker inside of the game. Right now, the only way to do it is to have this, screen recognition software that's actually like OCRing your screen and saying, okay, I recognize that you won because a victory screen popped up. Yeah. And so you actually have to have these other softwares running at the same time, rather than maybe just installing a mod, pop it in there, and then a UI you can click and it opens up inside the game and all that stuff. And so,
cool.
I think Blizzard should just recognize how successful that whole thing has been with StarCraft, with WoW.
And I think it will pay them back as well for as much time and money as it costs to make. I think they'd earn it, 10 times over just from goodwill, loyalty, and then equally, if they have a very fun terms of use that gives them rights to the mods, like I'm sure they would have loved to and possibly claimed to with their Dota lawsuit. That could also do very well for them.
They should have hired those Turd Frog and whatever the other guy's name was. They should. They should.
If you incentivize the making of the mods though, and you say like if you make a really successful mod, like there could be a big reward for you as well, then you really incentivize it, and then you say like we bring you in, or we purchase it from you.
One.
Yeah.
Oh, Arma 3 does? Wow.
I think there's something stupid like that, like
That's
$500,000 prize pool.
Holy shit.
For making, because DayZ was made out of that, and they're like, holy crap, that's made more money than our game has. And that's a mod. That's one of the most popular games there is today.
Yeah, look at that. Arma 2. Yeah. Compare Arma 2 sales which was what the mod was based on, and compare that with DayZ sales, both since launch, and it's insane.
Exactly. It dwarfs it. And so all of these people are waking up to the fact, Blizzard historically did it very well, and I just feel like with these latest releases, they've perhaps been a little bit closed. And so yeah.
Well, they're big enough not to worry about it.
At this point, though, they're a different company than they were.
Yeah, but if you stop worrying about it, then you get to a point where all of a sudden you realize, oh, now it's too late for us.
Oh, I agree completely. This is the time.
Become the overlord.
This is the time where you start making those shifts, and it'll be interesting to see if if they do. I don't know. They're in a weird place.
Honestly, I think we've turned into Azeroth Choppers now, where we spent forever talking
Next
about
time on Top of the Show discussion.
Exactly. Just, guys, honestly, just click 20 minutes in, and then you'll get to the actual
Then
show.
you get to the start of the instance. Yeah.
Well, real quick, Dills, your WoW time has been better than mine lately, but
Well,
I share
but not
a
much.
problem you're having with the Hunter. I want you to explain that real quick.
Well, I just cannot motivate myself to play my main right now.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
This is the point in an expansion when this always seems to happen. And basically all I ever do now is I log in and I'll grab my, lowest level alt and I'll just play Q until I've used up all of his rested XP. And then I'm like, well, do I want to do it to another one or am I done?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a sad place to be in the WoW life cycle, right?
Happens every time.
It's like I want to play. I just want to play WoW because I like WoW.
Yeah.
And I'm not really struggling to motivate myself to do anything of value other than just.
Well, a big part of
leveling is of value
Sure,
somewhat, but
sure.
in the end, I don't even know why I'm leveling all these alts. I don't know if I'm ever going to play them at like
probably
half level
not.
cap.
Same with
Just
me.
thinking it's saving you $60.
Sure.
I guess so. I mean, the way I look at it is part of the problem is we know what's coming. This always is a problem. When you know what changes are coming and they're attractive and interesting,
yeah,
it's like, well,
I'm ready.
I want those systems now, and it's hard for me to go, oh yeah, I got to go reforge still.
No, I'm just ready to. I'm ready to do like garrison stuff. I'm ready to start leveling up to 100. I'm ready to do all of that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I want to go through that dark portal again, man.
That's right. Open the portal, everybody. We're coming in.
Let's go.
Big news of the week.
Kill us some feral orcs. DoghouseSystems.com sponsoring the program. Don't forget, get double the memory for absolutely free. You just got to use the code Henry. That's the name of my cat in World of Warcraft. That's Henry, Henry. Double the memory at DoghouseSystems.com. The best in gaming rigs today. Let's move on to talking about the BlizzCon ticket stuff happened. So curious how listeners did. It was a mad rush as usual. Yeah. And a lot of talk this year
to complete the transaction.
A lot of talk and complaints from people about the rise in the price. I mean, when this thing started, it was $100, went up to 125 or 150, then it went back to 100 for 1 year, and then it was back up again. It really hasn't gone down since. Every year about $25 more. Last year was 175 per ticket. This year at 200 per ticket, and a lot of sort of moaning online. That didn't seem to stop the tickets from selling out immediately.
No, and this is what I had a big argument with several people on Twitter about this, which is basically me saying, it's really a supply and demand thing. Like the ticket has no actual value. Like it's a ticket to an event.
Yeah,
it's not like, oh, this ticket is now golden, so now it's definitely worth that's not how it works. It's just because they realize this thing sells out immediately. So we should probably raise the price until we've met the demand of this type of thing.
I mean, I've put on an event now, with Yogs, and like they're really, really, really expensive.
Yeah.
But to put them on?
Ours, yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And ours is, we did a companion event at Resd, and we ended up charging. I think it was about probably around about $70 a ticket.
Yeah.
And you got we did like a really nice goodie bag where you got a bag and a t-shirt. And the thing is now we look at it and we're like, well, we actually didn't make any money from that. We covered our costs. But even that, we had 1,000 people turn up. Had that sort of fun experience. We had a lot of fun doing it. There's numerous benefits outside of the financial side, but equally, we didn't actually make money on it. So as from a business perspective, it was a huge amount of time that went in, man hours that were all paid by wages that we never saw any kind of money back for. So actually, probably we lost money.
Yeah, dude, welcome to Nerdtacular. 20 every year.
To MGA World Championships.
Exactly.
We do the same. Like this is the thing. You can't argue against us because we've all experienced something like this from the other side.
Yeah,
I think most people who are like don't understand why the price of a ticket could go up. Yeah. Have never put on a con or any type of.
They have no idea
event.
what goes into it.
And it's like, there's a lot of costs on the back end of this and a lot of work, and I got to get paid for my work. And you got to get paid.
Like I said, there are dedicated people at Blizzard who their job is BlizzCon, and there's teams. And if you think about just their salaries alone, like just to match that to warrant their cost, you've then got all of the venue costs, and then they've got to actually try and make it of quality enough that we going there and spending that money still actually feel that we got value for money. And so the goodie bag, always has to be of a certain standard. And I remember, we chatted to Kat ages ago, and, she was saying that they made a choice a while ago to switch from a bag filled with tats to actually one really nice collectible piece.
Yep. Yeah, one cool thing.
And that has felt like a really smart and good move. Logistically, it makes it a lot easier for Blizzard to manage.
For them, yeah.
Equally,
a lot of people don't love we get a lot of stuff. I know. I agree.
It's hugely better. I mean, I've got some QQ more noob tissues. Like, yes, hilariously funny, great. I've got some cinnamints in a tin.
Well, I used to like those though, because they would send me when they would have too many. They'd send those for nerdtacular use, which was great for me. And now I don't get those anymore. But whatever.
Well, exactly. But at the same time, they weren't ever. Even collectively, I didn't really feel like you saw where the money went. I saw where my ticket went. Whereas at least what I love about a good goodie bag is it means regardless of your own personal experience at the con, which to a large point isn't really controllable by Blizzard. They can't control if another person is a real douche to you and makes you feel like, oh, I actually didn't have a good day today because that guy stepped on my toe and then shouted at me. But at least they can, the bits they can control. Anyone who buys that bag gets something of value in terms of the in-game items. The digital items alone are worth a fortune. People are idiots, and if you were to sell them on eBay, you can sell them for more than the virtual ticket where you get the same items. They're completely, it doesn't even make sense to me. And then obviously that physical item, the last year we had these 3 fantastic chibi vinyl toys that I honestly think that BlizzCon is hands down one of the best value cons.
I would agree. So. And Dills, you made that clear on Twitter, and I agree that I think this con is worth your $200. Here's the thing. It's easy to say that, and it's great, but I'll bet $1,000 plate presidential press dinner is also worth the $1,000 it is to those who go. But they have priced that in a range that has made it so not everybody can do that. And that's what this is. Now, it's all the politics aside of money and what class you're in society and where you're able to do things where others can't. Take that out of the argument. It is really just a value proposition. Is this thing worth $200 to you? And if it is, then there's no.
Then you get it,
and it's worth a ton, and it's worth that to many people. So,
I mean, we're the wrong people to ask because I'm here in the UK. And so obviously the ticket is actually one of the smallest costs of BlizzCon.
Yeah, the ticket to BlizzCon is barely anything
tiny,
as far as
exactly, it's nothing. Yeah. But that convention still is worth it every single time. So I again, everyone has different personal circumstances and different amounts of disposable income and all these the measures. But hands down, BlizzCon, honestly, you cannot find a better.
It's definitely worth it. But I think one thing a lot of people like the actual sentiment I hear from people is that this is like some money grab from Blizzard, where this isn't. I swear to God, when you look at how much money goes into putting the damn thing on, and not just like Terpster, you're saying this item in your bag, like that is a very small piece of the pie. When you're talking about how much it costs, like you got all these installations, all of the people who have to work there, you got to pay Blink 182, you got to do all of these things.
Yeah, those guys alone,
damn thing up. To set the whole damn thing up.
Right.
I don't think Blizzard is making a killing on BlizzCon. I think really this is just a thing that continues to build the excitement around their games, which are that's where they make the money.
And love it. Like honestly, it's where nerds get to be rock stars for the weekend.
No, and it's fantastic for them. It's a great experience. They get direct feedback on their games and all that. It's worth it for them to put this on. But the when people complain that like Blizzard is being greedy by doing this, I think they're missing the point, and it's really just the ticket price itself. If that's the prohibitive cost, is this extra $25, you just probably aren't going to be able to go to this, and it's unfortunate. And I wish there was like a free thing everyone could go to, but we live in the real world, and a business not to try to recoup costs.
The virtual ticket actually is just exceptional.
It's great.
I got the virtual ticket as well last year. And when I got back home, I actually watched BlizzCon, because when you're there, you never see BlizzCon. You're always doing something. You're in a line.
They're two very different experiences.
Yeah. And having all of that archive for you to watch at your own leisure is just extraordinary.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, if you want to go to BlizzCon because you want to find stuff out about their games, don't. You know, go buy the virtual ticket. You'll have a better time, and it'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
If you want to go to BlizzCon and meet and hang out with other like-minded people, then that is the sole and only reason, in my opinion, of going.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, you'll never be really happy that you have like $200 in your pocket, but you'll be happy as hell when you've got memories with all these. You know, I mean, like last year it was just like a whirlwind of good times, and if I didn't go because the rental car and the hotel and the air flight was all too much, like I don't even remember how much it was now. I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, it was a great experience.
And good. Yeah.
If you're into this stuff the way we're into it, it's a hell of an experience.
When you die, you don't take it with you. So why don't you spend it hanging out with other nerds?
You can't take none of that with you. You can't even take your cool plastic Ghibli freaking
I can't take my tiny plastic Arthas with me.
No, you can't.
Let's go.
Well, you can try, but he's not gonna. He's just gonna rot in your grave. All right. Well, there's that. So that's. I hope everyone got tickets that wanted them. It looks like they did. So there's another.
I hope nobody thinks that I'm like putting them down for feeling bad about not being able to go because of the cost. I understand.
I'd like them all to go so you can meet them all. You know, like nobody wants. Yes, we should all go. Like as a guy who understands, I understand the idea of keeping tickets low. Like we had to work our asses off this year to keep Nerdtacular tickets at like $45, and we did that at much duress from me because I was like, I want this to stay affordable, you guys. What does that mean? Well, in the end, we're not going to make any money. It's going to break even like it always does.
It means Scott's going to be a stress ball for months at a time and not have any money at the end.
Yeah, and that's fine because I want to do it for you and everything else. But that is kind of what they're doing. And they have a lot of other benefits that come from this. Like Terpster said from his thing, there's way more tied to it than just straight up money. If you think that's a lot of money, then don't go. If you think it's the right amount, go. And if you couldn't get tickets, get that virtual ticket. Either way, I'm looking forward to seeing all you guys there. It's going to be great. All right. WoW. There's some bad news for you here, though. WoW's down to 7.6.
Good news and some bad news.
7.6 million subscribers. Blizzard had their Q1 2014 earnings call yesterday, I guess, or was it today? I think it was yesterday. Announcing that WoW is down to 7.6 million subscribers. This is down 200K from the quarter 2003 call that listed WoW as 7.8 million subscribers. It's not a giant drop by some standards or by their standards, but 200K is still a significant chunk. Again, I would attribute this to the stage of the expansion we're in and the weird waiting period we are between now and the next version of the game. So call that what you want.
I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, they also say in that same call they've sold already 1 million Warlords of Draenor.
Yeah.
That's insane. And that's literally, a million copies of the game before it's even out. And it's literally because, of you can get the level 90 now. It's just, exceptional.
Yeah.
So they're doing all right.
They're fine.
I wouldn't worry about a 200 drop when they've already sold 1 million for the next one before it's done.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fine. All right, it's time for us to roll into this. Check this out, everybody. Where is it? Right here.
Previously on Azeroth Choppers.
All right, last time on Azeroth Choppers.
Last time on the show when we talked about this, I think we were talking about the repetition and style of American television. Equally, it's quite weird for me to see online.
American reality television. I want to make that clear. Yeah,
and the thing is, I watch a lot of it, but I thought it was quite strange. So, Scott, what I'd like to talk to you about today is the repetition, and I guess also the referential kind of keep looking at the past and referencing stuff that we've already just talked about, really. But in the fashion of just constantly reminding the audience, because apparently the people watching this have the minds of goldfish and forget things after around about 2 seconds. So really what we're currently talking about is how Azeroth Choppers is structured in such a way that it keeps talking about the same thing and equally talking about what it's just spoken about without actually saying anything, or at least anything new. And I think that what would be great on this episode of The Instance is to really cover how Azeroth Choppers talks about stuff that's happened while stuff isn't happening. But they're still talking about stuff that happened, but possibly didn't even happen because it's, reality, quote unquote, television.
Yeah. You have the make of it. That's it. That's
so frustrating.
I know. I don't. Yeah.
And I think it's doing amazing. Like, you look at the views and stuff on YouTube, it's doing really, really well. What amazes me is the big rule on YouTube is you have 5 seconds to capture an audience. Someone goes to a video and the drop-off rate in the first 5 seconds is literally anywhere from kind of 10 to 100% of people will stop watching after the first 5 seconds. Blizzard in this last episode we were talking about before the show, you can go a clear minute into this episode before this episode actually starts. There's a minute of intro and, previously on Azeroth Choppers, and it's just, it's horrible. And at the same time, it is still very good. It's strange how
still watch them all. Yeah.
Well,
that's 12.5% of the entire thing.
But I'll be honest, completely honest, I clicked through the team playing WoW. I'm sorry.
No, you have to watch that part.
What? That's the best part.
It's terrible.
4 episodes telling me how 5 weeks is not enough time. There's no way that we can get it done in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Don't sit down, all the team. Hey guys, let's play some
Warcraft.
Warcraft.
It was to inspire them, though.
They didn't know what they were doing. No one gets inspired by WoW.
No.
I was inspired watching them use 2 hands just to touch the Q, W, E, and S.
Yes,
buttons.
dude.
I was definitely inspired by that.
Amazing. And now we're
Both hands on the keyboard, no hand on the mouse.
Dills and I were talking before the show about it, and these guys are using 2 hands on the keyboard. No one knows how to use his mouse, and all I can think of is you got these 2 guys from Blizzard there who are trying to explain the game. They're on the dev team, and they're trying to explain the game, and all I could hear in their heads was, we are the kind of nerds these guys would beat up in high school. And we're teaching them how to play this game.
It's like you don't see, like, they didn't get Terran and Co up there to look at the bikes and then say, okay, Terran, here's a MIG welder. If you could just tack that fender onto that bit over there, we want to get the spikes on that. That'd be fantastic if you could do that. You don't ask someone who's got no skill or interest or even, previous experience in said field to, in a apparently high-pressure time environment, take time out to just do it. If you want them to get excited about the game, then, play them a nice, cool cinematic. There's plenty of them.
Well, the cinematics would definitely be inspirational.
That's all you'd need, yeah.
But I do want the guys who are building the bikes that are going to be in WoW to actually have ever played WoW. Like, I get the reason to have them do it.
Is fantastic, but I don't think you find a mechanic and then make them a WoW player and then equally expect it done within 5 weeks.
Yeah.
If they mention the 5 weeks again, I might kill someone. Honestly,
but Terpster, it's half the time that they had originally.
I'd freaking love it. I'd freaking love it.
It's like, and then in this past one, a guy has family issues and has to drop out. That's like 2 minutes talking about a guy who's no longer there. And then it's like, there was maybe like 30 seconds of them actually building a bike.
Ned or Wade, or what's his name?
Wade, I think. Wade. Yeah.
This
he's gone.
Is very achievable. I think it's very achievable because from all the bits I've seen them actually making bikes, they've managed to make about 3 minutes of actual video about. So it can take that. Because
it is incredibly, it's very disappointing. I mean, at the same time, obviously we're going to watch it and I do want to see where it goes, but there's nothing here that's like, there's no must-watch TV happening.
It's fantastic. I honestly do. But I think the way it's structured is so frustrating and obviously is for a very different audience that it annoys me because I would have loved to have gone more into, just make a bike. Show me making a bike. Show me that. That's interesting to me. The hook for me is it's about Warcraft and you're making a bike. The hook for you can be that people who like making, watching making bikes can then learn about Warcraft. Fantastic. Ticking all the boxes. What worries
the hook
me
is not that it's 5 weeks. That's definitely not the hook. I understand.
It's annoying. It's annoying.
Like I don't want to keep harping on how much time they have to do the bikes. I just want to see the bikes being made. And yes, I thought the part where they played WoW was great. If they hadn't made so much of a big deal about them having 5 weeks, then them playing WoW would have just been a funny bit.
Right.
But instead, Terpster was like freaking out because he's thinking, my God, they have 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Why are they stopping to play?
I was thinking, this is Blizzard must be running this project. This is why we never get game on time.
They always stop to play games. Yeah.
We're in a high pressure time environment, so let's stop what we're doing and do something completely different that we're not able to do.
Yeah.
And then I think that's going to help us actually when we get back and realize that we have less time now because we've wasted it, that we'll be more stressed and thusly more productive. I don't think that equals out. So,
all right, 2 things I learned from all of this. One thing is how many times, it's kind of a drinking game, how many times does Samwise throw the goat fingers at the screen at a Skype call with Paul? That happens a lot. Just watch for it. He's always going, video, right? He's always doing the rocker hand. Second thing I learned is it is actually possible to beat Corey Stockton in a round of Mario Golf. I did that successfully over the weekend, and I just wanted to throw that out. Yeah. I'm very happy about it.
You're just dropping names left, right, and center.
Well, it's all what it is. What it's about is
at this conversation about Azeroth Choppers. I did say
no. What it is, it's about an incredibly smart game design mind losing to a schmuck like me. That's all I'm getting at. I just want to throw that in there.
It's golf, though.
Yeah, in golf.
But if you guys did a one-on-one, just a duel.
In actual golf, he'd kill me. He'd kill me in actual golf. That I know. This I know.
He'd probably hit you with a golf.
We got an email that I'm going to use as kind of news here because it was actually kind of a lame week for news. But we talked last week about monks and the state of Mistweavers specifically, and that all being kind of crappy. And there were
people were pissed off that we didn't know why monks were the problem. But I'm sorry, guys. I don't play a lot of monks. I just know that when I try to kill them, sometimes they pop the OP-ness thing, and then I can't do it.
Yeah,
so
the OP-ness.
That's what I know.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So it says, we got this letter. It's from Lazor. He says, so I listened to the latest instance episode 366, and I got to say that whole monk thing totally, about that whole monk thing, I totally agree. I have caught myself watching a movie while doing a raid and just totally get sidetracked. I mean, I love my Mistweaver healing. It's very selective on who you keep alive and who who you kind of choose to not heal as much, but I find it doesn't have enough AoE healing abilities, which makes it very difficult to be top healer. Don't get me wrong, I started playing my Panda Monk, of course, as soon as MOP came out, and healing is actually quite stressful at times, but I think a total revamp of the class would really make a difference in a healing way. I think the change I could see, he writes funny, is if Soothing Mist jumps from target to target instead of just one target, which would make the Mistweaver such a great PvP and PvE healer. Besides my little monk rant, my question is, what are you guys looking forward to most in WOD? Do you think the changes will be enough to reignite the WoW fire for some players? Well, thanks, guys. Lazor. I think he has the right... This is what we're hearing about that. We may not have known exactly what's wrong with Mistweavers, but this is generally the complaint. People are bored.
Yeah, I could see something like this working where rather than me having to stop my channel and start it again on somebody else, that could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, my little experience doing it, I just felt like I was standing still a lot and wasn't able to move around and do stuff. And actually, they've come out and said that they want healers not to be on the move so much with just insta heals, you know,
generally.
But I think the channeled heal is a little bit of an issue. So yeah,
it's just boring. It's just boring.
It is. It really is boring to just continue to just shoot green mist at people. But
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I know that they're decent,
refreshing,
decent. Yeah, it's refreshing. You just got to keep it, keep shooting that green stuff at me, man.
Sure.
But I know that like they're effective and they do some good stuff. But yeah, it's just not fun. And that's the thing. It's got to be fun.
Yeah.
Whatever they do, it's got to be fun.
If it ain't fun, what are we doing?
Yeah. What are we doing? What are we
looking forward to? Turfster, what's your big looking forward to thing? For me, it's Garrisons. That's an easy one, but
Draenor.
I
quite like the. I think Garrisons would be quite nice. I think, to be honest with you, I quite like the idea as well of how they're mixing up gear a little bit. I don't know. I think there's lots. The whole thing really. I think Garrisons is probably where I spend most of my time.
Yeah.
But I don't think that there's really anything they've talked about that hasn't been that interesting.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
I think PvP is
Garrisons.
going to be really exciting for me when the CCs are not so prevalent. Like it's just right now it's so frustrating to PvP and not be able to do anything for half the time.
Yeah.
Just be sitting there watching a countdown that says stunned for the next 4 seconds. Okay, now you're frozen. Now you're it's just okay.
And players who exploit that.
I want to play, man.
Yeah.
I want to do stuff.
Those players are going to be ticked this change is coming. We've heard from a few in emails who are like, I don't want them changing it. I'm dominating in there. Well,
yeah, you are.
Yeah.
But you play a class with all the stuns and the CCs.
Yeah. What are you going to do? All right. Well, that's it for news. Let's get on to this. World of tweets. I got some tweets from Celestalon here this week that we're going to focus on. Somebody said to him,
Sorry.
I am, oh yeah, you're a little late. It's lag. We'll blame it on the lag.
European lag.
In my opinion, this guy says, only cast times and nearly nothing else is just as bad as spam instance. Neither make interesting situations, Celestalon answered. This kind of speaks to what we were talking about a minute ago. He said, well, philosophically, all cast times would be better than all instacasts. However, we're at neither of those extremes. Didn't really answer the issue, but...
Well, you want to battle, but like what he's
up.
saying is that you're taking away all my instants and you're giving me all cast times, and that's not quite true. They're taking away some instants and replacing them with some cast times to even it out between the two. Because right now there's a lot of instants and you never really have to stop and cast anything.
Yeah. For the record, it's one of the things I love about Diablo is how I can mix things based on cooldowns, and some are instant, some are not. Some can be ruined to be instant, some can be ruined to be so powerful they need a cooldown, but to be able to have the control over that is always really nice. Maybe WoW can do some of that more with more choice.
I would like to see the ability to decide whether, you know, like my fireball is a weaker instacast fireball or maybe a really strong cast time fireball. That kind of stuff could be cool.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting though, with Diablo though, is they give you like 1 billion skills, but only 5 you can use. Yeah. And WoW is kind of, you know, got 1 billion skills and you can use them all. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. I think it could be fun to see, you know, what happens if they, you know, switched up that talent tree model again, to just give you 5 points, but to give you want. a billion skills to pick from rather than 3 that are already balanced. You know, just to give you a whole host of different things and go back, you know, to a blend of that earlier talent tree model.
And a quicker way of switching them up would be nice. So that, you know, I don't have to go get dust and do stupid shit.
It's actually a cool model. Here's some abilities, now decide which ones you want. And it works in, you know, it works in the MOBAs, it works in the Diablos, it works all over the place. So I think it would also work in World of Warcraft to just make decisions like, do you want chain lightning or do you want lightning bolt?
Right.
When do you want?
What do you want?
Are you an AOE guy or are you a single target guy? You know, that kind of stuff. Because those are really the choices I end up making in Diablo. Like, am I going to be an AOE whirlwindy type barbarian, or am I going to be bashing a single guy for a bunch of damage?
But even then, like with me, you know, I've got all this, you know, plus percentage cold damage. So I'm like, okay, well, what spells do I have that deal cold damage?
Sure.
So I'm doing like Hammer of Ancients because it's got a cold rune. You know, it's that sort of thing that then I get different gear that modifies damage in a different way. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, cold isn't as good for me now. So I'm going to go whirlwind and lightning and all these other things. That I think, you know, again, it encourages you to play around with your build more.
And it makes everybody individual as well at the same time.
Yeah, because it depends on what your gear is.
Yeah, so you have less choices, honestly, in what you're doing during the gameplay, but you are different than the barbarian next to you. And that's a very cool thing.
It is a really nice thing. I wish there was more of that in WoW. But anyway, we'll see. There's another one here about mages, which is nice. We're going to talk about mages a little bit here.
Oh.
Tweet was
Mage talk!
It doesn't ring as well, does it?
No, it doesn't quite work.
You're missing the syllable there. You said there are too many raid cooldowns, and now you make new ones for mages. Why? Celestalon answered. By the way, he had a birthday. Happy birthday, Celestalon. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Because we want to reduce them overall, but also balance them better. That means giving a small one to specs that have none. Again, it answers this issue of WoW balance is tricky, and they have to do what they can for mages. And they also said this about Shaman. The question came in, with the new Echo of the Elements talent with Resto Shaman, is it possible to have 2 healing rains down at the same time?
Wow.
The answer was yes.
That's a good question, and I like the answer.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm going to just rain all over the place. My green healing rain.
Yeah, make it rain, man. Make it rain.
That's cool.
Right.
I like that.
Let's let the appendix do the talking.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Why, it's the town crier.
It is the town crier.
What's Nick said to you since, I mean, does he know that you put a picture of him coming up from anesthetic?
Yeah, he does.
Facebook?
The reason we did, his sisters demanded it because both of them, when they had their wisdom teeth out, I did the same thing to them. So they were like, you got to do Nick.
So his decision, but more so everyone else's.
Yeah, you have to do his because you did it to us. Now you have to do it to him. I said, all right, fine.
It's character building. It's good.
That's what I'm
saying.
You
didn't do like a David after dentist kind of thing?
Kind of like that.
Nick after appendix.
He was kind of like that, except he didn't have much to say other than just kind of moan. He was super out of it, but he was cracking me up.
It's the town crier.
Is this real life?
He was super stoned. He's upstairs now and watching the Italian Job. So there's that. Nice thing to do when you're not at school, I guess.
The medicinal I guess it's the new one, not the old good one.
Yeah, the new one with the marking.
They told you to blow the bloody doors off.
That's right.
Yeah.
Audible.com sponsoring this part of the show. I love Audible.com. There's a collection of stories called Unfettered Tales by Masters of Fantasy. It's basically an anthology. Terry Brooks, Patrick Rothfuss, Robert Jordan, like big names, R.A. Salvatore, all these guys who you know from all your book reading, and I thought it'd be a cool thing. I'm going to play a little sample.
Jack McCall was 10 days shy of his 13th birthday when he decided that he was dying.
Oh, no. See, I don't know where that's going to go, but you could find out.
You just decide that you're dying? What?
Well, who knows? See, now you got to go. You got to go listen. You got to go find out. Unfettered Tales of Mastery of Fantasy is something I would listen to on Audible. But I want you guys to go check out whatever you want, and you can get a free one if you use this link. It's audiblepodcast.com/wow. Get a free audiobook of your choice. It can be that or anything, and there's a huge fantasy listing on audible.com. And we like these guys a lot. If I'm not doing podcasts, that's kind of what I'm doing.
Do they have a lot of Vag fan?
They have a lot of Vag fan fiction, yes.
Okay.
A lot of vaginal fantasy. Have you heard of that, Terpster? It's a big deal.
I have. Yeah.
People are into that.
Yeah.
Veronica Belmont and Felicia Day have a whole show about it. So
they loves it.
Yeah, people are into that. Anyway, you can go check them out now. Again, that link is audiblepodcast.com/wow. Get a free audiobook today on us. Okay. If you want to be a part of the Town Crier, you can call us, leave us messages, 206-202-3969. That's 206-202-3WOW. Or you can email us attachments and emails to theinstance@gmail.com. A couple of calls today. Let's jump right into these. One of them is Terpster saying this.
Oh, shit.
Nope, that's not the one we want. It's this one about, I already forgot what it is. Oh, what if Blizzard goes all the way down the kind of pay-to-play road in this game? So let's find out. Here we go, right here.
Hey, Scott, Dills, and Terpster. My name's Ryan. I am an orc shaman on Ghostlands. I had a question for you guys, just thinking what you guys' thoughts were. Me and my friend were talking about, like, the future of WoW, and we were saying my friend was scared because he sees Blizzard aiming more towards microtransactions than actual rewards for achievements. So instead of actually working hard for these achievements that you have to spend time in doing, you could just put $25 down and get this mount or get this gear. I love the show, been listening for a long time. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so they kind of do this now with mounts. You know, they're things that you maybe previously would see in the game as an earnable object, but now they're store only. But I don't know that Blizzard ever goes further than that. I still don't see a day, and there's always people talking about this, but this idea that I want the chest piece that falls off Garrosh, but I don't want to do the work with my team to get it.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to buy it. I don't think Blizzard ever does that.
None of these games really go that far anyway. Most of them it's all, kind of cosmetic stuff, but I don't think Blizzard ever really goes fully down this road with World of Warcraft, and if they ever did, it would be because barely anybody was playing this game anymore. That's the only time this would happen.
Yeah.
And,
sometimes you might want to do the raid, but you can't because no one else is playing it.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess
the thing is, if with 7.2 million people, 7.2 million people paying whatever $15, you could say at 12, I think is like the average.
Yeah.
If you have to replace that with all microtransactions, you're never going to get there. That amount of money, it's just never going to happen.
Yeah.
So this is never going to happen until there's 300,000 people playing.
Yeah.
And that's the only people paying. And if they did this, they could have 1 million people playing. Yeah. That's the only way this would ever happen.
And then there's no way they get to those numbers. It'll never be that low.
No. And if it is, it's because their new game came out.
Blizzard's dead or something's happened. Yeah, or
the world has ended.
None of those things happen. But like even in Hearthstone, just look at what they're doing now with free to play and what they are planning to do with Heroes when it goes live to the public.
Yeah, I mean, what did they say they had like 10 million user accounts on Hearthstone?
Yeah, something like that.
That's crazy.
That's insane. Huge. It's insane.
And
it's huge.
Think, like most people have spent something in Hearthstone.
A little bit of money, sure.
And you've got those typical free-to-play whales that have spent a lot of something.
Yeah.
That game was fairly cheap to make, small team, short time, that it's already made money.
Dude, if 10 million...
They estimated 30 million for this year.
Yeah, that's just insane. It's immediately profitable out of the gate.
So that means an average of like
that
$3
makes that in a month.
player.
So
right. So, but the point,
in fact, I think Blizzard probably spends more than that a month in terms of dev costs.
But in my point, I mean, to my point though, there's a game where they're explicitly pay to play. If you want, I mean, it's not required, but it's a free to play game with microtransactions. That's a game where they are explicitly doing that, and not once have they ever suggested, nor will they ever say, "Hey, for $5, you can just straight up buy that gold-plated card right out of the store." All they're doing is letting you buy a thing where you get a random chance at stuff. It's a gamble every time you spend money. It's never going to be, "I'm going to buy Ragnaros cards straight off the store for $20." It's never going to be that. So,
but I mean, in a certain sense, you kind of are doing that because, well, people have done the math because of the disenchanting of cards and stuff like that. Like, if I really need this one card, what I do is I buy 10 packs and then I get enough dust to craft that card.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's true.
So there is a little bit of that, but again, it's not quite there.
I have a question for you, actually. I'm glad you just brought this up, and you would know maybe more than any of the rest of us here. If I, no offense, Derpster,
loads taken.
Okay, good. So there's a prevailing theory, or not a prevailing theory, but a theory out there that the way people should be playing Hearthstone is not experiment around, and especially if they're doing constructed play. They're like, pick a class, maybe two, and anything you get for any other class with any card unlocks, any card you buy, however you get new cards, dust those up and build cards to focus on the deck focus on the one, maybe two classes that you care the most about. Is that a way to go, or do you want to be holding on to the shaman cards and the warrior cards?
I think what you do is you just dust the bad cards. Like, this is what I would do if I was completely going free to play, never going to spend a dime on packs. I would keep any card that, like, the community considers a decent card, because I might need it down the road. But disenchant any card that is considered a kind of a poor card. Also disenchant all golden versions of everything, because you can get, you can use that dust to get better cards of the
I like having golden cards.
I know, but you got to hold off on that if you want to have good cards early on, and you got to get your gold cards later. But basically, and then build the incredibly cheap decks that are still good now, and then go with those, because there's like the Warlock aggro decks are really cheap to build, so you can just build that without having to dust everything. Don't do the thing where you're going to be like, well, I want to start off playing Control Warrior, which has 12 legendaries in it. You start off with the cheap decks, and then just play and build your stuff and play Arena. There you go.
Arena's your ticket.
Arena's going to be your best way as a free to play player to build up cards
to get cards,
and that's
you
once
get
you get good, you get
packs.
more packs as well, and it's better value for money.
Right.
I'm actually considering right now creating an NA account and just never spending money on it, and just getting that feeling, because we get a lot of calls on the Angry Chicken about the free to play or the pay to play and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I admit I didn't go the free to play route, so it's hard for me to speak to it in the same way if I had gone that way. So now that I pretty much have all the cards, I might as well just try it out.
Yeah, give it a shot. It'd be a good experiment.
Yeah.
Got a call here about, we talked last week about, actually it's 2 weeks ago, and Terpster was here, we talked about young people and whether they're playing the game now new, or if they're they're way too into Minecraft and other games, are taking their attention away from a game like Warcraft. And this call came in about a grandpa and a grandson. So check it out.
Hey guys, I know you were talking about the youth playing WoW all the time, and how you're worried about how much they were going to be playing and stuff. And I just wanted to tell you guys a funny story. My 89-year-old grandpa actually plays, and he's the one that got me into it. He hasn't been playing since vanilla, but the Burning Crusade is when he got me into the game, and I recently quit, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't play anymore either, but I just thought it was...
Hey, call your grandpa and ask. But anyway, the point is, cross-generational stuff going on still,
Call your grandpa.
Yeah, grandpa, 89.
But I mean, again, and like I said, I'm sure in any game you can find a grandpa and a grandson who plays it. What I would say is that there is less of a movement now, and this is why I feel that the character model refresh is the most important thing in Warlords of Draenor.
It has to look cool and modern,
because because it there's some great comparative videos up on YouTube now of the female gnome now and back then. And it's one of those things, again, it's like with all old games, nostalgia kind of blinds you from how bad it actually is. Once you see it in comparison there, and it's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You know, like there is no mouth movement or expression in that face, and now there is so much.
Yeah.
And I think it's just one of those things that if Blizzard can capture the imagination and excitement of people today who don't have an RTS that they loved, that means that they then want to play the MMO version of it, because Warcraft 3, I mean, they've just redone Lost Vikings and Rock and Roll Racing for re-release.
Yeah.
But you can't really play Warcraft 3. It's stuck in 4x3. You've got to edit INI files to make it go widescreen. I'm sure it's on the to-do list, but what is bringing people into WoW? And even then, these older games aren't going to necessarily be the thing that brings people to play WoW, which is a decade old as well itself.
Yeah.
So I really feel like if they can make WoW look modern and beautiful as it is, then that just I think will help that argument and that conversion. But even then, it requires friends to be playing.
Yeah, totally.
I play
agree.
WoW because my friends play WoW.
It's who's playing, and that's a big thing. But like graphically, it's not the graphics that are getting all the kids to play the Minecraft, right? I mean,
it is in a way. It's a stylistic choice, but yeah,
it's a stylistic choice.
It's modding. It's everything else.
What you can do in the game.
Sure,
right?
sure.
That's what's
it's running your server. It's building crazy things. Yeah, it's all that stuff.
And so that I think is the big consideration outside of the upping of the graphics. Obviously, when you look at WoW now, if you've never played and you don't have like Terps has said, the nostalgia, you're going to look at this game and you're like, this game? No, this looks old. Like, I'm not going to play this.
You're right.
But if you take that and you also add in the ability to do a bunch of cool things in your own little world, which I think garrisons do a little bit of, and there's some other things that can happen, then you really start to like appeal to new players.
But you kind of feel like if Blizzard made a Garrison iOS app that allowed you to do Garrison stuff, albeit with a simplified interface, but you could send your guys on missions. It's basic Clash of Clans.
Yeah.
If they made that, I think that would be a fantastic draw for people like, I've got this amazing Garrison. It's like, well, you do know you can play the MMO. If you buy it, you get the level character. Your Garrison will already be there. And you'll be a level 90 and you can go play that game.
Yeah.
There's numerous ways that Blizzard could invest time and effort to make routes to bring people into the game.
Yeah.
Equally, they then have to weigh it up with, should we be trying to bring new people in, or should we just try and retain the people we have?
And
I kind of feel if you don't have new blood coming in, you're always going to wane, just as
it's always going to go slowly downwards.
As people, people will have more responsibilities, and just have to move on.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can keep bringing new people in, and I think that's the big thing that they looked at with Titan. They thought, well, hang on, let's make a whole brand new game and see if we can recapture the market again. And now they're thinking, actually, no, we need to rework what we have.
Which is good. And
I think Hearthstone does it to a certain extent, though. Hearthstone, I know for a fact, like there's people who never played WoW, started playing Hearthstone, and said, I need to go play this World of Warcraft game that all these
100%,
cool characters came out of.
And I've got a theory too. So I agree with everything you guys are saying, by the way. And I remember in 2003, my brother-in-law tried to get me to play EverQuest 1, which he was still into, and this is before WoW. I hadn't even gotten into the alpha yet, so I had played Dark Age of Camelot and some other stuff. And EQ1, even with some expansion graphical upgrades, looked terrible. It still looked like 97, 98, and it just did not look good at all. I imagine people approaching WoW are saying similar things. So I agree with all you said about the graphical uptick. Here's the other advantage of Hearthstone being kind of this bridge software to draw new players in, is I think they are now, and this is mostly wishful thinking, but I think they could be poised to do something I've asked for years. And now's the time, Blizzard. You start another team. Call them Team 8, whatever you want to call them. And their job is to make a Warcraft turn-based, story-driven strategy game. And turn-based is the way you go with this one. It's small. It's not a huge, giant effort. It's not like you got to go graphically crazy. You've already got 1 billion assets to make this thing. I want to play... Basically, it's... Heroes of Might and Magic Warcraft Edition is what I want.
Okay.
I love those games, and I would love that so much. With all the Blizzard stuff that they do, it would be amazing. Make another little thing, a little interstitial Warcraft thing, expand the universe, draw in new players, draw existing players over to it. It'd be a giant hit. That thing would be mobile in a heartbeat. You could do it on PCs and mobile. It'd be a piece of freaking cake. Why are
they've already owned the iOS space with Hearthstone. And I think one thing that I'm still wondering is what the business model is with Apple, because Apple takes 30% of everything. And often
they just
if you
take
put a
30%
game
of
on there,
your pack purchases.
Right.
Well, I know that some of the apps on there, if you have a store, they want 30% of all purchases through that store, be it on iOS or not.
If it's transacted through the app, Apple gets their 30%. That's the way it works.
So is that purely it?
Yeah,
that's it. It's a straight. That's why they did the one price. The one we talked about this with Tom at length. It's basically his theory, and I think it's true, is that you just want to keep it simple. It's like 70% goes to the developers or whoever's running it, 30% goes to us.
Unless you're playing on the PC, then it's 100% goes to Blizzard.
Yeah,
but you can actually purchase with like iTunes gift cards. You can purchase packs and stuff. So that money is. But I'm sure Blizzard is a big enough company that they're not dictated to them how they're gonna every 30% of all of it. No, it's just iOS.
Well, I mean, like I said, I know that they've done it with other big companies out there.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's been a stumbling block for a few, large companies. But I just think it's interesting to know. But I don't think Blizzard's talked about it. But you're probably right.
Yeah. No. Well, Apple doesn't control anybody's stuff outside of iOS. They don't.
Like I said, there have been some circumstances. I know with where they've asked at least.
Well, they've had to use their servers or something.
It's often a no. No, I think it's literally just purely because they think of the market growth they have, and they don't want to have an app out there. Like I don't know what Netflix does basically, because Netflix is an app there that they manage their.
You can't sign up for it inside the app though. You have to do it outside. See, so I recently got an RDO subscription, which is a music service like Spotify, similar to that. And on the App Store, when you're in the app itself, the in-app purchase says $14 a month. You go to their website, it's $9 a month. Essentially the difference, right? The 30-70 split. And I thought, oh, well, I'll just get it on the site. And now I just log in on the app and everything's fine. So a lot of people have workarounds. Comixology's big switch up after Amazon bought them is that very thing. You go sign up for stuff on the Comixology site and then you sync it to the app. That way they don't pay Apple anything for the transaction stuff. But I've never heard of anybody who maybe does something on the Google Play Store and Apple going, hey, you should give us a cut of that. I don't see how they could even ask for that. That seems insane to me.
Off topic, I really want to go play Heroes of Might and Magic right now.
Yeah, dude. See what I'm saying? You see?
Yeah.
And imagine Uther Lightbringer on the hill. All right, man. We've got to advance. And
Just the little Final Fantasy Tactics type.
Yes.
Like just that little, moving the little guys around. It's so fun.
I love turn-based strategy.
Why is it so fun? I don't, it's so...
They could do that. Knights of the Silver Hand. I'd play it.
Yep. Of course you would. Yeah. In a heartbeat. So
I
Blizzard,
show those types of games to people, and they're like confused, and I'm like, you don't get it then.
No, they don't. I mean, our real-time strategy spawned from turn-based, and turn-based. It goes all the way back to chess. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If anything, Hearthstone is a turn-based game.
It's synchronous play, though. That's what you want. And the thing is, if Hearthstone. Hearthstone, the pace of it is fun. But like I said, my frustrations on the iPad are because I get disconnected and then I can't reconnect in time, and so I forfeit games. Yeah. If it was asynchronous, like a lot of mobile apps are because of these sort of problems, then it's just a question of until you actually end your turn, it doesn't then submit your moves to the other person.
Yeah,
but
and multiplayer is great. That's awesome. Let's have multiplayer in my idea for a turn-based strategy game. But I would even be happy if this was just straight up a single-player experience that you made me pay $15 for. Oh my gosh,
sure.
I would play the living hell out of it.
I'd play the crap out of that. Yeah.
All right. That's it for emails and calls. Thank you guys for those. We appreciate it. Let's wind things down with this.
The drop of the week.
I did forget to mention, if you would send us your phone calls this coming week and maybe moving toward the new expansion, I would love to hear what people's favorite moments were in Mists of Pandaria. 206-202-3969. And just tell us, what was your favorite raid? Was there some moment that popped up and you went, oh, wow, you loved the music, you thought the art was great. What was it in Mists of Pandaria that made it a good expansion for you? We'd like to talk about it on future shows as we get led up to Warlords of Draenor.
What was your favorite raid, and why is it Ulduar?
That's a real.
Who is your daddy, and what does he do?
My favorite moment in all of WoW is an easy one, and it was when we took down the Lich King. That was just insane. What a great night that was.
It was really fun.
People yelling and screaming. And
I know.
Fantastic.
Well, the epicness of that moment too, that they kill everybody, and if you didn't know that first time when you die, you're like, wait, what?
Yep.
No. Why did we wipe? We were all full health. Yeah. They did all of that really well.
So good. What a great expansion. All right. Drop of the week this week.
Spoilers, by the way.
Oh, yeah, spoilers.
To everybody who hasn't killed Lich King.
Get your classic Blizzard on. Terpster mentioned it, and here it is. A version of Lost Vikings and Rock and Roll Racing have been added to the Battle.net download page for everybody who has a Battle.net account. So
along with Blackthorn. I don't even think you do, because I don't think I was logged in at the time, and I still downloaded them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think
where did you get them? Not in you didn't get them in the app, right? It's something else.
No, I got it's battle.net/classic or something like that. I forget. I'll find the URL. We'll put it in the show notes.
All right.
I tweeted it actually.
Well, here it is. Well, it's right here. The link's in the notes, I think. Yeah, here it is. So it says, it just shows up. You can get Blackthorn for either Mac or Windows. Lost Vikings Windows only. Rock and Roll Racing Windows only. Did any of these have like controller support?
Yeah, mine still says login or create an account, and it is battle.net/account/download/?show=classic.
Yeah. We'll put it in the show notes so people can get it.
It's got a classic games little tab. Like you can just, if you go to the download games place.
But Lost Vikings, I played through it again, and I forget how much fun that game is.
I love that game.
You know,
love it.
Kind of running around again, gliding with my shield. The controls are a little bit janky.
Is there controller support? Is it all keyboard?
There is controller support actually, or at least it worked with a
like a
360,
360
controller I had. But I don't know. I didn't feel like it didn't really work tremendously well, because they've added in like guides and stuff like that, and you can press tab, S, and then you press tab to go through your inventory after pressing like F, and then you have to press R, and then you press. And I was like, oh Christ, I don't remember it being this hard.
Yeah.
But maybe it was, because things were harder back then. And literally, like you touch something you're not meant to, and that's your Vikings dead, and then you can't finish the level.
Where's the death and return of Superman on here?
I think it's a licensing issue. I think otherwise they would have it with us.
It's terrible is the other thing. It's not good. There's nothing proud to be of for that game.
Yeah, but it's not
Superman
about
doing like sweet dive kicks.
It's nostalgia.
It's not good.
Nostalgia.
I have nostalgia, a bad nostalgia for that, because it was not good. I think this heralds possibly. I mean, it could be a one-off classic little nod to these old games, but this may say, hey, yeah, they are working on a version of, Tides of War or something, Warcraft 3 era stuff or Warcraft 2 era stuff that they'll put up here as classic. I can totally see that.
All of that.
You can actually make it work. If you've still got the old discs and stuff like that, it will work.
Yeah.
It's so I mean it's always tricky, but
and you can still buy the Diablo 2 battle chest at freaking Walmart for $19.99. What the hell's that about?
Have you seen how much the Diablo 2 collector's edition?
Yeah.
I think it's something like $8,000 or something. I might be wrong.
It's worth it. Yeah, if you have one of those
collector's editions, kids.
Yeah.
I think if it's new.
I feel like it's like Dills. I feel like it's like comic books though, where
new
stuff aren't
on for $600, but I don't think this is it.
That's still pretty high. That's still pretty high. But that's the whole point. Is that like comics are collectible and worth tons of money up till about 90, and then now who cares? It's too digital. It's too easy to get. Too many copies. Too whatever. There's no collectability anymore with new stuff.
Yeah, that's the issue. Yeah.
But these old games, man. So it makes you wonder. Like, will one day my Wrath of the Lich King Collector's Edition be worth anything? I don't know. I have no idea. I have signatures on it, so maybe that'll be worth more.
That's
my own signature. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, look, you can buy Warcraft Orcs and Humans still, $80 on Amazon.
Yeah.
Ships within 3 to 4 days. It still works because it's DOS.
Yeah.
And just DOS still works. You just need DOSBox.
Yeah.
Or I mean, you've still got DOS anyway.
Yeah.
But so you can play it. Again, it's one of those things where you're like, I can't remember games being this hard.
Yeah.
But they were.
It's been a while. They still have Warcraft 2 Battle.net Edition. They've got. Ooh,
yeah, the Battle.net edition works, definitely.
$149. What the heck? Why is that so much money? Oh my gosh, the Warcraft 2 Battle Chest, Tides of Darkness Beyond the Dark Portal, $3,683.35.
Crazy.
Makes sense.
What?
Sounds about right.
My gosh, dude. That's insane.
That is a little crazy.
Wow. All right. Well, that's it for the show, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget, you can find out what Terpster's up to all day at twitter.com/the_T. The underscore part is an actual underscore. You don't spell it.
Don't write underscore. That is someone, though. They did it, and I think their only tweet is, this isn't Terps.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's very nice. My son was asking the other day, he says, Dad, how come we call him Terpster, but people he works with sometimes call him Terps and sometimes call him Mark? And I said, well, Mark's his real name, number one. And Terps, I don't know, it's just short. It's
just shorter, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, his full name is Mark the Terpster Turpin.
Yeah,
yeah.
We know that. We know that.
Given birth name.
Yeah,
we
given.
know. Your Christian name. Yeah, it's the one where the priest hung you upside down and slapped you in the butt.
It's actually my Jewish name. I have different names for different religious, by the way. Reasons. Thank you.
Oh, well, we're anti-Semitic, so you can't come on here anymore. Sorry.
Oh, really?
Terpster's last episode ever.
I thought you said no Jews, and I thought, well, only one. Yeah. It's okay, because that's just Jew.
Okay.
You know,
I see how you played your cards there.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, Dills and all the stuff he's up to and his shows and everything can be found at Willie Dills on Twitter. Always something new going on there.
Yeah.
So do check that out. And did I hear something about the MLB coming down on podcasters or something?
Yeah, apparently they. I haven't gotten any cease and desist notes from MLB, but apparently they're coming down on some very popular baseball podcasts that are team based, and that really sucks.
Why?
So
what
MLB? You need to cut that crap out.
Yeah, what rock were they living under?
Like Major League bullshit to me.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's just, to me, anybody who's doing a podcast, an independent podcast, not trying to make any money off of your licensed whatever, I don't understand why you would want to create ill will amongst the community of people who enjoy your product. I don't get it.
Well, especially because those podcasts it's commentary, and you might occasionally play a comment that a team owner made or something, and then talk about it like we would with Chris Metzen said something, and
Sure.
That's all free game, man. What
I'm
are they
doing? Put this out there, though. The San Francisco Giants, as an organization, have been incredibly kind to us, and they fully know who we are and what we're doing, and that we're totally an independent podcast, and they still give us press access and and media access and all that. So
take that, MLB.
This is the MLB. This is the actual.
Major League buttholes.
Though, is like you can have a big argument with them, and then they flashy thing you, and you forget everything that's ever happened.
I think you're thinking of the MIB. It's easy to confuse that L with an I. I understand. It's okay.
Yeah. Right. I thought it was lowercase L. It's an I.
Now playing second base, Tommy Lee Jones, everybody on second base. All right, well that
kind of blows, but whatever.
It'll all work out.
Okay, right now. Yeah.
Major League buttholes. There you go check them out. Big thanks to Matthew Oxley for our theme. Leave us a review on iTunes. Hey, Paul Swickard, thanks for being our intern. He's rad. Check out our website, theinstance.net. Everything's there. On Twitter, the show is at Instance Show. I'm at Scott Johnson. Dills is at Willie Dills, and Terpster's at _T. On Facebook, we're at /TheInstance. And there are more fine shows just like this at frogpants.com. Don't forget to check later this afternoon, 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time. 5 p.m. rather, not 5:30. Greg Ghostcrawler Street and one Patrick Beja will be joining us on Current Geek.
Oh,
really? Oh, wow.
Very
Return
excited.
of Beja? 2 weeks in a row?
2 weeks in a row. Plus,
Is he on there just to make sure that Greg doesn't say anything that would violate an NDA?
We have made that joke to them, and they laughed. Yeah. Greg's trivia, by the way, we always do trivia with our guests, and his trivia is frost mages, and he can talk freely about them. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I would have done it on marine wildlife.
I thought about it.
Because I always wonder, was he actually, or did he just say that?
Yeah.
I think he might just be like, yeah, I like fish. They're pretty. And no one else knows enough about fish to ever challenge him.
Yeah.
Say, but Greg,
that's probably
do you know
true.
about the subtle horned fish in its current ecological situation in Australia?
Yeah.
And he goes,
No one ever calls him on Matt for that. So maybe tonight we'll see where he's really at with that. Anyway, that's tonight, 5 o'clock, currentgeek.com for details if you want to find out what's going on there. That's going to do it for us, for me, for Terpster, and for Dills. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Lovely.
That was thoroughly enjoyable, everyone. I truly did have a whale of a time.
Wow. I'm glad I wasn't sure we were going to see it. Does it sound like from...
exactly. Yes. I was like, I was like a man on a mission because I don't like missing them too much.
Well, you have a busy life. I know how it is.
It's shit. Exactly. It's terrible. So,
But yeah, when that happens, I just it's like we're okay, but having the Terpster input, it makes a difference. People out there go, "Ooh, I've learned more today because of what I heard from Terpster today."
Yeah.
I might be making all that up, but it's good to have you.
It worries me. The thing is because Azeroth Choppers, Terran's obviously really excited about that. Terran's a good friend of mine, and I always feel a little bit bad for hating
you guys can hear me?
Because he's doing really well in it. I feel like, I really want to support him. He's doing something awesome. It's great. Yeah. But at the same time, the show makes me want to hurt myself.
You can't hold back on your true opinions.
No, you are who you are, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. Be you. Don't be anyone else.
No. Yeah. Be you.
Be you.
Yeah.
Be you. Be university.
Unless you want to be, a digital character in a video game.
Yeah.
You can be that.
This is all true.
Well, I'm going to go do that.
Yeah. Have fun. Thank you, chat room. Thank you, everybody.
Cheery. Bye-bye.
Stay out of trouble, everybody. Bye now.